Happy to be back in Minecraft. And also, forgot to edit my camera. It's always so zoomed out. Bro, it's my fault though. Honestly, my fault. Okay, well, actually, let's be 100% honest with ourselves. It's the camera's fault for constantly resetting back to default settings anytime I restart my computer. Anytime I just turn my computer off, which is basically every night. However, it's my fault for constantly forgetting to fix the camera settings. Because I always forget. I should know by now. I should know better. Anyways, we're back in Minecraft, and I'm excited to get back into things once the camera's fixed here. Yeah, it's better. Okay. Very, very excited to be back. I'll be 100% honest with y'all. The last couple Minecraft streams have been very rough. Okay, last 2 times we've tried playing Minecraft, specifically Minecraft Farlands. It has just gone terribly. My Minecraft Farlands live streams have glitched out. I've had entire streams corrupt. And the game has also been not cooperating. So what I've started doing, and I'll actually show you here real quick if I go back to the title and go to my world selection screen, I'm now making a new save file for every instance of me playing this game, creating a copy of that world. So if something does corrupt, we don't lose everything. You know, it's kind of a safeguard where if our world file just completely crashes and deletes itself, which has happened once to us, we don't lose the entirety of our playthrough, the entirety of our work and effort and time. It doesn't go to waste because we'll have a save file from the last time we played, or the time before that, or the time before that. Makes sense? I'm very excited to get back into it, and I'm very excited now that we don't have to really worry about the game corrupting or the stream crashing and losing a lot of playtime, because this is a very hefty task that we have ahead of ourselves. We have to walk for 1.5 million blocks. So, in order to avoid losing any of that, and just to avoid having to do all of that over again, which, like I said, I've already had to do once in this series, we're just putting some safeguards in place, you know, like duplicating our save file. Additionally, I'm gonna use the same strategy I used last time, where under controls, I have my forward button, not as W key, but as my right arrow key. And then I'm just using something to hold down the right arrow key for me. Yeah. And from there, we can kind of just chill. I want to make sure we're going in an exactly straight line here. Beautiful. We're going in a straight line, and we're just going to relax for a little bit. So, because I have a hotkey to just walk for me, I can keep both my hands free, and I could also, if I really wanted to, could go open like a playlist, listen to some music while we play, while we talk, while we kind of just hang out here. So what I love about these streams is it's basically just like a chill hangout stream where I can focus like 99% of my attention, to the chat. Because like when I'm playing a normal game, my attention's split 50-50. 50% of the game, 50% of the chat. Or if I'm playing a game that's like actually very intense and requires a lot of focus, then like I'm 80% focused on the game, 20% focus on the chat. But with these live streams, I can pretty much focus 100% on the chat, which is really nice. It's very relaxing. What do I want to listen to? What playlist do I want to listen to? Maybe night mode. Listen to some night mode. Why not? Sure. I can't tell if this is too loud or too quiet. It might just be because it's the beginning of the song. If y'all want me to turn up the music, just let me know. Yeah, just let me know. I feel like it is a little quiet. But it is starting to pick up the volume now. Anyways, I'm excited to be back though. Like I said, these live streams are so relaxing, and it's such a nice couple of hours to just catch up with the chat. talk with people, have a good time. Yeah, I mean, this volume isn't bad. I mean, like I said, let me know in the chat if you want me to turn the music up, but right now, the music is like half the volume of my voice. It's almost exactly half how loud my voice is, and I don't want to turn it up too much, and then you can't really hear my voice. You can't hear what I'm saying. But it's just sounds quiet for me. Maybe my headset's quieter than the live stream. Because on the live stream, the music looks like loud. At least loud enough. But in my headset, I can't hear anything. It also might be the fact that I'm wearing a beanie. Dude, the other day, I was playing some Counter-Strike off camera with some friends from work. And as you know, Counter-Strike is like a very intense game that requires a lot of focus. And I was really getting frustrated because I couldn't hear the enemies. I had no clue where they were coming from, or if they were on my left or my right. And at one point, I just complained to my friends, like, bro, the audio's so messed up right now. And they're like, really confused. They looked at me as if I was a crazy person. Because for them, it sounded normal. However, I realized like 2 minutes after I started complaining about the audio that the reason it sounded so muffled and bad is because I was playing with a beanie on. The beanie really does just like suppress a ton of sound. It makes it sound way more muted. And I should not play at least competitive games with a beanie on. I really should be playing no games with a beanie on, because with this on, I can't really appreciate the music, the soundtracks, and some of that kind of subconscious feeling that the game wants to almost embed on you. Like, that sounds weird. That sounds like... Why did I word it like that? That sounded gross. Almost sexual nature. My bad. But a lot of video games use music to make you feel certain things. And it's a little hard to get that emotional. And it's difficult for me to feel those feelings when I got a beanie on that's just muting all of the sounds, just muffling the noise. I do love wearing beanies though, so I don't think anything's gonna change. Like, look at this one. This one's dope. It's a Ninetales beanie. Ninetales from Pokemon. And it's got like desert theming to it. It's got a little like pyramid there. I think it's dope. It's a sick beanie. I will complain though that the website, specifically Pokecenter.com, I bought this off the official Pokemon website. It said on the product description that this is one size fits all, but this like barely fits my head. You know what I mean? Like, what I love about a good beanie is when it has a bit of a extra space at the top. Like, it almost looks like that stereotypical stoner beanie. I'll show you what I mean. Here, I got a couple more beanies back here. Take my headset off for a second. Grab a couple beanies from my stash I have back here. I have an entire box of hats, beanies, and I also have just thrown hoodies on top of it for if I need a hoodie when I'm streaming if I get cold. But like, look at this beanie, for example. This beanie got a lot of space up top, okay? It not only would fit your head, but then you would have extra just kind of space to puff it up. Meanwhile, the one I'm wearing right now, it does not have any extra space. It fits my head like a condom, bro. It's just gripping onto my scalp. This beanie, you'd have a lot of space up top. Kind of puff it up or make it look a certain shape or design. That's what I like. I mean, we can just compare these two, actually. This would be perfect. Beanie with extra space, beanie with no extra space. And I like the extra space because I don't like beanies like this or the one I'm wearing where they just grip your head like a condom. I want that extra space to kind of breathe. And it also just looks better. Also, I realized that, like, out of context, the fact that I have a ton of my hats and beanies just in a cardboard box looks clinically insane. However, you must keep in mind that my wife and I are trying to move, in the coming years. My wife and I are trying to buy a house in the next year or two, and therefore a lot of our belongings, a lot of our personal items are just in boxes right now in preparation for the move. Sure, still a year or two away, but like if there's things we don't need, we already have them packed and ready to go for the move. Trying to get ahead of it, you know? For example, like my entire stream setup behind you, minus the treadmill. Hold on, one sec. There's a whole fucking try on the treadmill. I'm actually going to use this towel to shower later. Okay, minus the treadmill in the back. My entire streaming setup is just built together like a modular, almost Lego set. Here's what I mean. This table that I have my wheel on, as well as some decorations, like I still have my Nintendo Switch 2 box here, just because I've been playing a ton of Switch 2 since it came out, and therefore I wanted the box in the background. Same with the Pro Controller box. It's just chilling in the background. All of this stuff for my stream setup, like the wheel, it's sitting on top of a green tote. You can kind of see it here. It's just, I could lift the lid off, but I don't want to because I'm worried I'm gonna make the wheel fall. But it's just a giant green tote with some of my wife and I's stuff in it for the move. Additionally, in the back here, I have two boxes. One for snacks, if I ever get hungry on stream. And then I have a second box. This one's, oh my god, it's so much heavier. This box is just filled with water bottles, so I never get thirsty on stream. Okay? And like I said, it is a little maybe cringe. Some would call it cringe that a lot of my personal belongings right now, I got all the water bottles fell over. Give me a second. All of the water bottles off to the side. You gotta be kidding me. Come on. There you go, there you go. Fixing it slowly but surely. Some would maybe call it a little cringe that my entire stream setup right now is just sitting on top of cardboard boxes and plastic totes. I don't have an actual desk back here. I don't have a table back here. It's just a bunch of cardboard and totes, like literal moving bins. However, like I said, because my wife and I have a lot of stuff already packed and ready to go for when we move next year, might as well use it as a makeshift table. Like, give it that dual purpose, you know? I don't know, man. I think it's funny. Eventually, when we move out and we get the house, I'm gonna need to buy like a real desk, or at the very least like a table that goes back here and can house all of my stuff. But for now, I kind of like my little janky DIY stream setup. You also got the two like posters in the background. You got the Mario Bros 3 poster and the Zelda poster. It's kind of like the Zelda one doesn't have a specific game attached to it. Like, that is Mario Bros 3. It says Mario Bros 3 on the poster. But the Zelda poster, it doesn't have a game attached to it. It kind of gives off the vibe of like Ocarina of Time, as well as like Majora's Mask. It's that art style. It's the N64 Zelda art style. That's what I'll call it. But like, I like the posters in the background. You can also see more. Hold up. Oh no, I just moved the mouse. I did not mean to. I needed to go back down. Go back down, go back down. Okay, I'm trying to get back into a straight line. Nope, I'm going to the left. It's really hard to walk in a perfectly straight line in Minecraft. As you can tell, the X, Y, and Z axis all go to like a trillionth of a decimal percent. No. we're so close to being like in a perfectly straight line. It's like impossible. I'm gonna give myself a headache just trying to walk in a perfectly straight line. I had it set up though before. God, it worked so well. I'm moving my mouse like millimeters and I still can't get it. That's good enough. This is what I get for touching the mouse. I should have just let it be. God dang it, bro. Yeah, you can even see in the background, like right here, there's more of the hats that I own hanging up on the wall. I have so many hats, bro, that there are hats hanging up on the wall here, and it goes outside of the camera too, like way outside of the camera. There are 15 more hats hanging up on the wall. And then in my closet over there, I have 2 hat racks, and they both hold about 10 hats. Those are both filled. So overall, in my entire room, I have 3 different hat racks. 2 over by the closet that have 20 hats. 1 right here on the edge of the camera, which again, you can't see all of it, but that has about 15 hats on it. And then I have an entire, like I said, a whole freaking box full of hats over here. Drop the hoodie. God damn it. I got a whole box full of hats. Don't mind the hoodies that sit on top of it. I don't even know how many hats and beanies are in here. And then I have a 4th location that I keep my hats. And it's another box. It sits on top of one of my dressers. I have another box of hats. And that is like what I use for hats that I don't really like, or like, you know, hats I don't really wear. I keep those stored away by the dresser because I never really use them. But the hats I do like, they stay up on a rack. They stay back here on the hat rack, or I keep them in a literal box. And that box are my favorite hats, the one behind me, the one I've now showed you twice. That box of hats includes all of my favorite hats that I wear the most on stream, which is why I keep them right behind me as part of my stream setup, part of my little stream layout. Calling it a streaming room would be incorrect because it's also a bedroom, but as part of my streaming getup, I have that box of hats in case I want to wear one of the, I don't know, cooler hats on stream. Or what we used to do in the past is there was a viewer reward where people could spend like channel points to make me change hats. And that's the other reason I had that that box behind me, is if someone wanted me to change the hat I was wearing, it was just behind me, just within arm's reach, and then I could swap hats. We should bring that back, actually. That was always a really fun viewer reward, having people spend their channel points to make me change hats in the middle of a live stream. I always thought that was kind of funny. You know what I also have thought about doing in the past, but I think I would need a wireless headset. I'd have to ditch this headset. I have that treadmill behind me, as you can kind of see. You can see like just the top of it, you know? Yeah. That is a treadmill. I've thought about doing streams where I'm walking on the treadmill and playing games, because I really do need to exercise more. Like, it's a problem in my life that kind of comes in waves, but inherently, I've been gaining and losing weight on a fluctuating scale, but overall, I need to lose more weight. And I'll explain what I mean. So, like, as y'all know, I work at an amusement park. And during the summertime, like right now, at the amusement park, we're not only open every single day, but as a supervisor of the park, I'm walking around constantly. Like, walking around these giant pathways and just entire sections of the park. So during the summer, I'm losing weight, because the park is open. I'm very active in my day-to-day job duties, and my day-to-day job duties also include me walking constantly. However, in the winter, when the amusement park is closed, my job then becomes kind of like an office worker, sitting at a computer, entering files and data and cross-checking information as well. Like, a lot of my job working full-time at an amusement park when the amusement park is closed is just office work. And because I'm sitting around not moving, not really doing anything that would count as exercise, just not exercising at all, really, I gain weight in the winter. And that's what I mean. Like, it fluctuates. But I really should try to work out more just in my free time. Because my excuse, especially right now, when the park is open in the summer, my excuse has always been, well, I basically work out at work. I'm exercising at work, which is true. Like, if I pull up my my health app on my phone, let me pull up this application. Oh my god, I don't care. No, don't turn on iCloud. Thank you. I totally trust Apple when they say my health data is private and secure. There's literally a screen. Wait, can I go back to it? Come on, focus. Your health data is private and secure. I don't know if I believe that, Apple. I don't really trust you at all. If I could be so honest. Don't send me notification. Why is my health app just completely reset back to default? It was making me set up everything all over again. At least the layout looks the same as before. I swear, it's like my entire health app just reinstalled itself. Anyways, that's not the point of this rant. So, the point I was trying to get at is there are some days, like today, where I did not work at all, that I'm not really exercising much. It's almost embarrassing. I've walked a grand total of, come on, focus, 1,900 steps today. Almost 2,000 steps. Okay? That's a day I'm not working. But then if I scroll over to a day I did work, the difference is like crazy. This is the last time I worked. 11,659 steps. And that wasn't even a full shift, I don't think. I think that was an 8-hour. Yeah. It's crazy. Like I said, let me go back to like the mileage. So today, I did not work, and I walked 1.8 miles. The last time I worked, we'll look at like a 14-hour shift. Let me pull up the last time I worked a double, because that difference is crazy. Yeah. Last time I worked a double, I walked 9 miles. So, that's the excuse I've always given myself. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm walking 4 to 5 miles a shift, or if I'm working like double, 14 hours, 15 hours, I'm walking 8, 9, 10 miles every day. I basically just kind of say to myself that I don't have to work out. I give myself that excuse. But the problem becomes the days I'm not working out at work, the days I'm not, exercising just by the nature of doing my job, I'm definitely not living a healthy lifestyle. I'm definitely not going to lose weight if I continue down that path. Does that make sense? Like, just because I work 40 hours a week and walk like 8 miles every double, it doesn't make up for the rest of the week. You know what I mean? And therefore, I shouldn't be using that as an excuse anymore. I still do it though. Like, I don't know, man. At least in the summertime, I do lose a little bit of weight. But in the wintertime, I'm not walking around like that. Like, sure, let's do like some quick mental math, for example. Right now, I work 40 hours a week. If that's 5 8-hour shifts every week, That's about 5 miles I also walk every week. So, it kind of equates almost perfectly. For every 40-hour work week, I'm walking 40 miles. And 40 miles a week isn't bad. And it's good enough where I'm losing weight. The problem is, I'm not constantly walking 40 miles all year round. I'm walking 40 miles a week right now because of the summertime. And my job is very active in the summertime. But then come wintertime, when my job basically turns into being an office worker, sitting down at a computer and entering data all day, every day, then I'm walking like 0 miles a week. Because when I go home and have my free time, I spend my free time relaxing, streaming, or, hanging out with my wife, not exercising. And that's the problem, to kind of go full circle. That's why my weight fluctuates and why I can't have a consistent just total weight. I lose weight in the summer, I gain weight in the winter, and it's always been that problem. However, the easy solution to that is I just need to start working out more. If anything, that would really, really help a lot. Because I'm already walking so many miles, putting in so many steps at work. And if I was also exercising in my free time, it would just basically, at the very least, duplicate the amount I'm burning calorie-wise, if not grow that exponentially. I'm just lazy. And again, I have the excuse of, well, I'm walking 40 miles a week for every 40 hours I work. But it's not enough. I know that. Sorry, this is a really long and convoluted rant just to say I should work out more. But one thing that I've thought about doing is streams where I'm playing a game and walking on that treadmill in the background. You can't really see it. It's being blocked by a couple cardboard boxes. But what I could do is move the treadmill and have it facing this way. I could also I could very easily move this cardboard box out of the way. Down on the ground for a second. And then, if the treadmill's facing this way, I could play a game and still be on camera. However, in order to do a live stream where I'm walking on the treadmill, playing a game, and streaming all at the same time, I'm definitely going to need a wireless headset. Because this headset, it ain't going to reach back there. That cord is very, very short. It ends pretty much right there. I can barely put my headset above the camera before I run out of space. Before I run out of cord. However, what we could do today is just look at wireless headsets online. Maybe we could just buy one off Amazon. Maybe that's what we do today while, walking in Minecraft. Should we just open up Amazon? Look at some headsets? Anyone have any recommendations? Oh, my Amazon's updating. I can't even open Amazon. God dang it, bro. We'll wait for Amazon to update. Yeah, I need a good wireless headset. And then we could start doing some exercise streams. That would actually be really fun. It'd be a nice double whammy. And I think if I did live stream me exercising, I would be more likely to actually do it. Because like I said, right now, I almost never exercise because I have the excuse of, well, I exercise at work. I walk 40 miles a week at work. I don't need to exercise at home. And also, the other excuse I constantly tell myself is I don't have time. Because when I'm not at work, or I'm not spending time with my friends, my family, or my wife, I'm live streaming. And live streaming is inherently a very static, unhealthy hobby. You're constantly just sitting at a computer or a gaming console and just playing a game without exuding any energy. But if I could make content and live stream while exercising at the same time, I would have one less excuse to not exercise, and in fact, I'd have one more reason to do so. Anyways, I'm still waiting on my Amazon to update. It's like it's taking so long to update. How big is this Amazon update? It shouldn't take that long. It's an application on my phone. It's not like I'm downloading Fortnite. What is going on? Why can't I... Hold up. I swear to God, my phone just refuses to update Amazon right now. Is it my internet that's super slow? I don't understand. Bro, I feel like I'm going crazy. Maybe I might just straight up delete the Amazon app and reinstall it. Because it will not download right now. It's been stuck at 1% for so long. What if I remove the Amazon app? Delete app. Yeah, I understand. You don't need to warn me that I'm deleting the Amazon app. And let's try reinstalling the Amazon app. I will say though, I don't want to buy a wireless headset because I like this headset so much. Not only was this headset cheap, but it's so comfortable. However, if I need to buy a wireless headset, I'll buy a wireless headset. Dude, it won't even let me download Amazon. Am I banned from Amazon? What's happening? Am I just like straight up banned from Amazon? Okay, it's finally installing the application. It wouldn't let me update it, so I deleted it, and then it wouldn't let me install it. But I turned my VPN off, and now it is installing it. Maybe it wouldn't install because of the VPN. But why? I don't know. That's kind of annoying. I couldn't install the Amazon app on my phone because I had a VPN on. Bro, grow up. What do you think I'm trying to do? Amazon, like, hack into the fucking mainframe? What is going on? Whatever. I just need to remember to turn my VPN on after it installs. Turn it back on, I should say. But yeah, that could be one of our goals for today. While we're walking in Minecraft, we can peruse Amazon and see if we can find any good wireless headsets. I wonder if Razer has any. I don't know how I feel about Razer products sometimes. Like, Razer makes really, really good products, but my problem with them is that they don't last very long. Like, in the 7 years I've been live streaming, I think I've gone through 4 Razer mice. Shit, how long have I been live streaming? Let's look that up. I feel like 7 is underselling it. Give me one sec. I'm gonna open my own page. What is the oldest clip that I have? See, this is why I hate the Twitch app. You can't look at clips by age. You can only look at them by popularity. What if I look at it on the browser page? Honestly, Twitch app sucks anyways. Who cares? What if I open up Twitch on my browser? Open a new tab. I'm vibing to this music though. Oh, you can't even look at it that way. Man, Twitch really has a terrible UI and just terrible like search functionality. Though I bet, hold up. I bet if I open up a Twitch tab right now on my other monitor, I can figure this out in like 3 easy steps. Give me 1 sec. We're gonna open up my own stream, and then go to my creator dashboard. Then if I search content by age, let's do clips specifically. Clips by age. Date created, oldest. Oh my god, I've been live streaming for 8 years. Yikes. I knew I was lying when I said 7. I knew that just didn't feel correct. It didn't feel long enough. We've been live streaming for 8 years, bro. Oh my god. Okay, let's keep walking. That just feels gross. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad thing. Like, the fact that I've been live streaming for like 8 years is kind of an accomplishment. But what does feel gross is the fact that I've been live streaming for 8 years and like it's been so inconsistent that I've struggled to make a hobby out of it. I mean, truthfully, this is the first year ever where I've had a stream schedule. I never had a stream schedule before. This is the first year ever where I've actually tried to live stream consistently and just not take unnecessary breaks or quit altogether. Because, sure, while I can technically say that I've been live streaming for 8 years, there was 1 or 2 years in between there where I wasn't streaming at all. There was multiple month-long breaks. I mean, back when I got married, I took like a 5-month break from Twitch. So, while yes, I started streaming 8 years ago, I don't know if I can say that I've been streaming for 8 years because of the amount of breaks and hiatuses I've taken. Like, again, I took entire years off of Twitch. So it doesn't feel like I'm allowed to say. It doesn't feel like I'm allowed to even make the argument that I've been streaming for 8 years. However, in those 8 years I've been streaming, sorry, I got way off track. Got off on a tangent. In those 8 years that I've been live streaming, I've gone through like 4 mice, and they were all Razer mice. Because they just kept breaking. And that's what I mean. Like, I love Razer products, but they just feel unreliable. However, I really, really love this Razer headset I have. So if Razer has a good wireless headset, shit, I might have to get it. Dude, the song goes crazy. Alright, let's look at some headsets. What does Razer have on Amazon? They have the Kraken. I used to have the Kraken. I don't know what I have right now. I think I just bought like a cheap headset. Maybe this is the Kraken. Oh no, I think I have the Black Shark. See, I'd also want a headset with like a relatively good microphone. Okay, maybe this is just not the play. Just looking at Razer headsets feels too one-dimensional. Let's Google best wireless headphones and microphones. Like, I want a good microphone. If I'm going to be walking on a treadmill, I want a microphone that's not going to pick up that noise and have like good white noise and background noise cancellation. So, best wireless headset microphones. Oh, best wireless headsets with microphones? Gaming? I don't know, I'm just typing in a ton of keywords. Best wireless headset, microphone, gaming. Okay, I need to find a good wireless headset here. Let me find like an article. Top 8 best wireless gaming headsets of 2025. Also, if anyone has any suggestions in the chat, I'm open to suggestions. Okay. What are the top 8 wireless headsets? The Audi's Maxwell Wireless? I've never heard of that. It's not noise cancellating though, so fuck off. Logitech G Pro X2 Lightspeed. I mean, they actually look really good, but they also don't have noise cancellation. I feel like I'm gonna need noise cancellation if we do live streams where I'm walking on a treadmill in the background. Okay. Can I just filter this article by noise cancellation, please? The Logitech G435 has... Oh, never mind. None of these are noise canceling. The Razer Barracuda is, though. Okay, okay. We found a mic that has noise cancellation. And then there's some honorable mentions. But none of these look good. Like, I'm not going to get Turtle Beaches, respectfully. I don't know why. And maybe y'all can relate to this. I've, for pretty much my entire life, had a dislike for Turtle Beaches. And it was only because someone in my high school who I hated had Turtle Beaches. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like people can relate to that. You ever, like, have a name that you hate? Like, you're meeting someone for the first time ever. And their name could be, like, Corey. And even though you know nothing about Corey, they probably sound like a perfectly normal person, and maybe they're even nice and cool. You hate Corey because back in the day, there was someone named Corey that you fucking hated. Like, it's the same thing. In high school, there was a kid named Corey, and I hated Corey. And now I can never look at a Corey the same. I can never look at anyone else named Corey the same. And for the same reason, back in high school, there's a kid I hated who wore Turtle Beach headphones. And now I can't own Turtle Beaches. Like, I refuse to buy Turtle Beaches because I associate them with my dislike of this kid from my high school. You know what I mean, bro? Like, I can't help it. But I think we definitely get some wireless headphones. I want something cheap though. If we're gonna get wireless headphones, especially because I don't need them. Like, they would just be a backup pair of headphones because these would be my main pair. I don't even know what these are. I don't know. There's some sort of Razer product. It's either the Kraken or the Black Shark. Like, these are my main headphones. So if I'm buying an extra pair, it's not gonna be something expensive. And the worst part is, technically, I already have an extra pair of headphones. I got a pair of... Oh my god, I almost knocked the wheel over. You good? You okay? Alright. I have an extra pair of headphones sitting right behind the wheel here for my wife when she plays games with me. So I technically already own two pairs of headphones. Like, I don't need another one, but I want one for the exercise live streams. Also, it would be super easy to do those exercise live streams while playing, like, Minecraft Farlands, because I don't even need to touch the keyboard to play this. I just have a hotkey that moves me forward. I have a hotkey that walks for me. Hands free, and I can use those hands to walk on the treadmill. Maybe do some push-ups, jumping jacks, you know? Oh, shit. That'd be funny. Yeah. It's something we'll have to look into eventually. Okay. Anyways, sorry. I was trying to fix the fact that we were walking a little bit to the left and straighten us out. But like I said, it's so impossible to walk in a straight line in Minecraft. Like, I'm moving my mouse just the tiniest bit, and it will get off track. And then I have to fix it again. That's so funny, though, bro. Hey, at least we're making good progress. What are we at? 73,000 blocks? Not bad. Especially if you think about the fact that every one block we walk in the Nether is 8 blocks walked in the overworld. So instead of having to walk like 32 million... Or no, is it 16? I forget. I forget if the Far Lands is 32 million blocks away or 16. I should really know that, considering it's kind of the whole point of this series, is getting to the Far Lands. All I do know is it's 1.5 miles. Miles? Million? Have I been saying miles? Oh my god, I'm having a stroke. Dude, I'm going crazy. Something is chronically wrong with me, and it should be looked at. Anyways, for every 32 million blocks, or 16 million blocks, I forget, it depends on the version you're playing, in the game, you get to the Far Lands. However, because we're in the Nether, we only need to travel 1.5 million blocks, and that'll get us to the Far Lands. Because again, that's multiplied by 8. So way less work. Now, I'll admit, people who do this challenge of walking to the Far Lands in Minecraft, legitimately, in the overworld, my hat's off to them. That's way more impressive. But I don't know if I would ever have the time to do that. Like, I guess my way of making it feasible is by doing it in the Nether. I had to compromise. Because traveling like 16 million blocks in the beta Minecraft is so time consuming, especially because you can't run. And you're constantly trying to like traverse over and under hills, over water, make sure you don't fall in a lava pit. And like in the Nether, I don't gotta worry about any of that. I can just walk on the ceiling of the Nether in a straight line. And it's perfectly flat, even ground. There's no obstacles to get in my way, like a mountain or a lava pool. I also only have to walk 1/8 the amount of blocks I would have to walk in the overworld, which really, really helps. But I'll admit that it's not as cool as if I was doing it in the overworld. Like, the Minecraft streamers, YouTubers, and just players in general who have done this challenge in the overworld are way more impressive. Like, my hat goes off to them. I've seen clips of people who did this in vanilla beta Minecraft, like I'm doing, but they're in the overworld, and when they find the Far Lands, their reaction is one of like pure bliss. Like, one of the biggest achievements in their life has just been completed. And I have a feeling that I'll have a very similar reaction once we finally get to the Far Lands. I'll be super excited and super proud of the fact that it's done. But in no way would I ever try to compare myself to the people who do this in the overworld, because that's way more impressive. Like, there's one YouTuber who kind of primarily inspired this series that we've now been doing on our Twitch and YouTube and TikTok. We're only a couple live streams in. But these live streams have been inspired by one YouTuber primarily, and it was Kurt J-Mac. And he's been doing this for years. And I still think he has not made it to the Far Lands. Let's double check. I'm gonna open up his most recent Far Lands video. It was uploaded 1 day ago. And I don't think he's made it to the Far Lands, considering the thumbnail does not look anything like the Far Lands. Let's see. Yeah, no, he's still not at the Far Lands, and he's been doing this for years. Like, when did he start? 14 years ago! Hi, Morgan. How are you? Dude, this guy has been traveling to the Far Lands for 14 years, and he still hasn't made it there. However, he's also doing it in the overworld, so it's going to take a lot longer. I wonder what his chords are. How far is he? Oh my god. That's crazy. Hi, Morgan. It's wonderful to see you today. This is crazy. I have no clue what to say about that. Hello, beautiful. How you doing, brother? Where we walking? We're trying to get to the Minecraft Farlands. However, as I was just explaining, it's gonna take a while. This is almost like a side quest for my live stream content. It's like a little subplot. Where like once every couple weeks I do a live stream where we're just walking in a straight line in Minecraft, and the goal is to eventually get to the Farlands. However, as I just explained, one of the YouTubers who inspired this series has been doing it for 14 years and still hasn't done. Still hasn't completed the challenge. He's still not done. The difference, however, is he's doing it the long way. Like, he's going to the Farlands in the overworld, which takes like 16 million blocks. I'm doing it in the nether, which only takes like 1.5 million blocks because, you know, it's obviously less distance to travel in the nether than to travel in the overworld. However, it's almost more impressive that this dude has been grinding for 14 years. Like, that is like a life accomplishment. Me, I'm only gonna have to travel 1.5 million blocks, and that's not that bad. 1.5 million is a lot, but it's way less than like 16 or 32 million. There's a chance he's on the 32 million block path, which is even more impressive and gives you almost more like bragging rights. I'm not gonna do that. One, because I don't have 14 years to spend streaming Minecraft. And two, it's just so much more time. Only 1.5 million is crazy. Yes, but again, hopefully it won't take me 14 years like it's taken that guy. However, it's far more impressive. That's the trade-off. It'll take less time. I'll complete this challenge way faster than the people who are traveling 16 million blocks or 32 million blocks. But I'll have less bragging rights. It will be less impressive. But I want to do it. And the other reason I've been starting this challenge, and I've live streamed it like 3 times now, is because I feel like I've done everything you can do in Minecraft. Like, I've beaten the game in survival, hardcore, I've played creative, I've played multiplayer, I've played mods, I've gotten really big into PvP, and I've played a ton of different servers. I was addicted to just SMP servers for a while. Literally anything you can do in Minecraft, I've done. Even like some of the more niche things, like Survival Island, Skyblock, or like Factions, which is not popular really anymore. I feel like Factions has died off a lot compared to the years of old. But I feel like I've done everything I can do in Minecraft, and this is like the last thing that I need to check off my Minecraft bucket list. And then I will have truly done everything there is to do in Minecraft. Like, my to-do list will be complete. And I can say that, like, I've done all there is to do in Minecraft. Now, granted, there are probably a few things out there that I haven't done. For example, there was one server that we found the other week. I have a Twitch clip of it. It's one of my favorite Twitch clips. There was a server that was just for roleplay, and it was specifically high school roleplay. I got the fuck out of there. The second I joined the server and realized what it was about, we left that server. So, you know, I haven't done everything in Minecraft. We haven't done high school roleplay, but that's probably for the better. Definitely better. Yeah, like, this is not only for the bragging rights of being able to say that I got to the Farlands in vanilla beta Minecraft with no hacks, no cheats, did it entirely legitimately. Like, that alone is a bragging right, but I'm also doing this because it's one of the only things I've never done in Minecraft, so I want to have that feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of completion where I've truly done everything there is to do in this game. But yeah. What was I saying before that? I feel like I got off on a really long tangent, and I was talking about something completely different beforehand. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? Oh yeah, there are a lot of YouTubers who have done this challenge before. I'm really curious what Kurt J-Mac is at coordinate-wise. Like, this dude has been grinding for 14 years. How far has he walked? Kurt J-Mac coordinates? Coordinates? Farlands. I'm really just typing like random buzzwords into Google. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so as of a year ago, according to Reddit, he was at 9 million blocks out of 12 million. Oh, he is doing the 12 million one. I'm almost surprised he hasn't gone there yet. Considering he's been doing it for 14 years. Maybe he took like time off, some breaks in between. I feel like after 14 years, he would have been there by now. Okay. Interesting. What does this Reddit post say? This was... interesting. Okay. So I can't find any Reddit posts that are more up to date than a year ago. But apparently 1 year ago, he was 9 million blocks away from 0-0. And only had 3 million more to go until he hit that 12 million number. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Okay, well, that's shocking. I wonder then, here's a good Google search we should do. Like, I want to watch a video of someone making it to the Farlands. Minecraft, Farlands, and then like, completed? I want to find someone who did it legitimately. I don't know how to Google that. Okay. There's got to be a clip of someone making it to the Farlands. Come on. I'm not seeing anything legitimate. See, that almost makes me scared. Like, it makes me scared for my own journey, my own challenge to the Farlands. What the fuck is that, Morgan? What is that? What did you just... Is that a butterfly? I don't know what that means. I'm gonna be so honest, alright? I'm a terrible TikTok streamer. Okay? Like, I have no clue what any of the TikTok donos mean. Like, if you donate to me on YouTube, I know exactly what it means because it's a dollar amount. Or if you donate to me on Twitch, I also know what it means because if you donate 1,000 bits, that's $10. Bits are basically cents. So 1,000 cents, aka $10. A butterfly on TikTok, I have no clue what that means. I gifted you $10. I had to add my card real quick. So a butterfly is also $10, coincidentally, given the example I just provided. That's crazy. I mean, thank you. I appreciate it. I never know how to react properly. Like, for example, I know that a rose is like 1 cent, or I think it's not even a whole cent. I think it's like 75% of a penny. So like when someone gives you a rose, like, thank you for the 1 penny. I'll still be nice about it. Sorry, that sounded so douchey. If someone gives me a rose, I'll still be nice about it, but like, I'm not gonna freak out. But I don't know if I should freak out for a butterfly or not, you know what I mean? Like, for example, you always hear the joke about like people begging for galaxies on live. And the galaxies aren't even that much money. Exactly. Like, I've seen so many cringy clips of TikTok streamers being like, come on guys, we gotta get the galaxies. Send some galaxies. If you send a galaxy, I'll divorce my wife. If you send a galaxy, I'll jerk it live. Like, people are begging for galaxies. And they're like only $20. Like, that's crazy. That people are selling themselves out for a $20 dono. I don't get it. Galaxy and I'll reset level. Exactly. There's so many of those live streams, bro. And I find them to be just so soulless. Like, they're just such surface level content. Where, like, I'll see a live stream and it's a dude who's trying to mine an entire chunk of Minecraft. So he's just taking a pickaxe and digging down to the bottom of the, you know, surface level. Digging down a bedrock, basically. And if you send him a galaxy, he'll reset. But what's so funny about it is he'll, like, dig down, and right before he's gonna get to the end, right before he hits bedrock, he's waiting. He just starts slowing down, mining like 1 block a minute, and basically egging the chat on to give him a galaxy, so he has to reset. Like, at that point, you're not trying to win. You're just trying to grift your chat for money. You're just a grifter who's playing Minecraft. I've also seen those ones too, like the people that are climbing up a slope, and when you donate to them, like, cars will fall down or rocks and boulders will fall down. I think it's a GTA mod. It might be a GTA. It looks like GTA. Like, you'll get those people who are trying to, like, climb up a hill, and if you donate a galaxy, like, 15 fucking Lamborghinis in GTA are gonna fall down and knock you back. But, like, it's just, I don't understand the point of that content. Unless people are really into, like, Sisyphus and they want to see someone just do the same thing over and over again, like, eventually that's gotta get boring. But also, it's gotta be lucrative because it's so popular on TikTok. Like, it's crazy popular. I just don't get it. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe I'm the boomer now. Because I don't understand how content like that, or live streamers on TikTok who are basically just sitting there begging for galaxies, there's no actual content. There's no conversation going on or, like, footage in the background that's interesting. It's just them and their camera. And they're like, come on, guys, send another galaxy. I just don't understand how that's lucrative. Like, it's gotta be, because it's so popular. But I don't understand how it's lucrative and how it's entertaining for people. Like, I'm so lost. Thank you for the rose, Morgan. Let's fucking go. Let's just, like, freak out. Dump this water bottle on my head for a penny. I do actually appreciate the butterfly, though. I had no clue what that meant. But $10 is, like, kind of sick. Now reset. Exactly. I know. We've been walking for 78,000 blocks so far. We're not even at our first 100,000. And we gotta go 1.5 million. Fuck me. But yeah, let's just reset. Let's reset for a penny. Oh my god. Or, like, another thing I see on TikTok sometimes when I'm scrolling, I'll get those lives that pop up on my For You page, and it's also quite literally just people freaking out at donations. I don't know if you've seen this. This seems to be a new thing on TikTok. But again, there's no conversation going on between the streamer and the chat. There's no, like, video game or entertaining footage in the background. I'm not saying you have to play a video game if you want to live stream. That's very elitist of me. I also feel like that's an old head take. Like, back in the day, live streams were 90% video games. Now I feel like it's 10% video games, 90% like IRL content. Just someone talking to a camera. But at the very least, if you're live streaming, I expect you to have a conversation or have, like, something entertaining going on. Like, maybe you're building a deck of cards into a house of cards, or you're out, like, streaming in real life, like going to restaurants, hanging out with friends. But for some reason, this new trend of live streaming I've seen lately is just the streamer reacting to the people in the chat. Where, like, this is what their live stream is. I'm only going to do it for about a minute. I'm only going to do the impersonation for a minute. But pretend that this goes on for the entire multi-hour long live stream. They'll just be looking at the chat like, oh my god, Morgan, thank you for the rose. Amazing. Oh my god, Roberta, thanks for the likes, Roberta. And, dude, Hope followed? Hope, you're a real one. I'll follow you back. It's just that for hours. There's not an actual conversation. I'm convinced the only reason these streams are popular is because like people have such an innate desire to hear their name spoken aloud by a stranger on the internet. Like people really love hearing their name read out loud. Like I don't get it. Those live streams are the most confusing to me because there's genuinely no content there. Like at least with the examples we talked about before, where someone's like running up a slope and if they get a galaxy they have to reset, or if someone donates a butterfly, a bunch of Lamborghinis fall down and try to hit them and send them back to the beginning. Like at least with those, there's a little bit of content. There's something kind of entertaining watching someone trying to complete a challenge but having to restart over and over and over again, and then they finally are able to finish the challenge once all the viewers leave and no one donates anymore. But also at that point no one's really watching, so whatever. But like at least there's something interesting to those live streams where people are trying to complete a challenge but having no success and having to restart. My game's getting really laggy. Might just have to restart the entire game. It's whatever. That's somewhat entertaining. I can admit that. There's a little bit of content there. But what I find no entertainment in, and what I would call actually zero content, just no content at all, is spending an entire live stream for multiple hours just going like, oh my god, thank you for the rose, Morgan. Thank you for the likes, Roberta. Thanks for the follow, Hope. A butterfly. That's crazy, Morgan. And just doing that for hours. Like, I don't get it. And I think the only reason that it's so popular is because it makes money. But, like, at some point, there needs to be enough self-respect where money is not the deciding factor for what you're doing on stream. And maybe that's easy for me to say because, like, I don't live stream for money and I don't care. Like, I have a real job for that. If I want money, I work my real job. Live streaming is just a way for me to have a creative outlet and to, like, make content that I think is entertaining, especially in the video game genre. But, like, I just don't get it, bro. I always try to make them feel insecure in the chat. Hey, why your hairline like that? Just like in between roses. Rose, why your hairline like that? Rose. Just like a compliment sandwich. Here's a penny. Also, your hairline's fucked up. Here's another penny. Just really fuck with them. But yeah, like, I don't get it, man. And I think the reason it annoys me so much is not because I'm jealous. Because again, like, you're gonna get those children who defend them, and if you try to talk shit on these types of content creators, they're just gonna flood your comments with you're jealous, you're jealous. I don't give a fuck about the fact that they're making a ton of money on TikTok Live. Again, I got a real job for that. I'm chilling. But what it really does annoy me, and like what really irks me about it, is it just feels like a waste of content and a waste of space in the creator sphere when it's already so oversaturated. Like TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, whatever you want to talk about. All of those platforms are oversaturated with a ton of people trying to make content and a ton of people trying to get big. And I feel like you're a waste of space, as bad as that sounds, on those platforms if your content is that pointless and mind-numbing and boring. I think that's what annoys me. Is like those people get popular, but like someone who's really entertaining and like makes good content won't get viewers for shit. Like, there were a couple friends I used to make. Sorry, that sounds like I don't make friends anymore. I actually don't have any fucking friends anymore. No, there were some friends I used to have and I used to co-stream with back in the day. And we would live stream games together regularly. And some of them were like the most funny, entertaining people that I've ever watched on live stream. And they've seen no success because it is a very oversaturated place. And even though you might be good at what you do, there's no guarantee you're going to get popular live streaming. It's a little luck based. Like, you can be one of the most entertaining, funny, high quality live streamers online, and your live stream might never actually blow up because there's just too many people trying to do it. I think what helps with that luck factor is if you are actually good at what you do. Like, you have a better chance blowing up if your content's good than if your content's not. But either way, it's still a little bit of luck. It just takes a little bit less luck if your content's good, and it takes a lot more luck if your content is ass. But anyways, the point I'm trying to get at is, like, I used to have a lot of friends that I live streamed with back in the day who I thought were so funny, so much more entertaining than my shit, and like, were just better live streamers to watch than not only myself, but also a lot of other streamers out there. And they never got any notoriety. They never had any popularity. Some of them, like, just gave up on streaming because their shit was flatlined. It never blew up. They never got any viewers. And that's really upsetting for me. Not only as their friend, like, it made me sad as their friend, but it makes me sad as, like, a casual viewer of live streaming content. Because not only do I create content, but I also try to watch a good amount of content to, like, be active in the community and also kind of have my finger on the pulse of what is popular and what is not popular. And it does make me kind of sad, and it makes me pessimistic that, like, people who make good content still struggle to find notoriety and popularity, whereas people who make content like what we talked about earlier, where it's like, if you send me a galaxy, I'll shave my balls, like, that kind of shit is popular. And I don't know if that's more upsetting about the creators or the viewers within those platforms, but either way, it's fucking depressing scene. It's turned me into kind of a nihilist when it comes to content creation online, where back in the day when I used to do this and I was more active on YouTube, I uploaded a lot to YouTube, and I live streamed every once in a while. Back then, when I was making content as a younger, more innocent version of myself, I really thought, like, oh, maybe one day this will blow up and, like, I can make a career out of this. But nowadays, like, I feel so much more pessimistic about it, where I just don't expect anything. And maybe that's good. Maybe it's good to be realistic, and it's good to focus more on what you'll actually find success in. Like, I'm focusing more in my job, so I make a stable paycheck, and I'm focusing more on my relationship, so my wife doesn't fucking divorce me. And that is good, to, like, focus on the things that do truly matter. But at the same time, it does make me a little sad that the bright-eyed, almost ignorantly optimistic person I was a couple years ago, who live streamed and uploaded videos to YouTube and really thought that, like, one day those dreams would come true, that those dreams are not necessarily dead, but more of, like, a accepted. I won't say that the dream is dead. Like, if the dream was truly dead, I just wouldn't make content anymore. So, in fact, my dream of one day, like, getting big, making content, it is still alive, but it's more realistic than when I was younger. And that realism is understanding that the odds of you getting followers and getting, like, a career off of content creation is so low, and it's so luck based. And part of the reason is because it's oversaturated and it's really difficult. Like, a lot of it is dependent on what the algorithm wants, what the communities you're broadcasting to want. And if you can't provide that, if your wants are opposite of that, you're also going to get shafted. Like, again, there are some really creative people who I used to live stream with there are some really creative people that I used to follow online who were making like really good content, like genuinely interesting and original content. But because their shit didn't fall in line with the algorithm and what viewers wanted to watch, because a lot of viewers admittedly just want to like turn on a stream and watch Pinky Doll do an NPC, live stream. Like a lot of viewers just want to watch like an NPC live stream or something casual, something that isn't new and different. And I can't blame them for that. Like, I'm someone who does not like change, and I don't like trying new things. So why would I, try to talk shit to other people for not trying new forms of content or new streamers? I get that. But it just makes me sad that like there were a ton of people who I used to live stream with back in the day and I used to follow back in the day who were making creative, original content. And most of them have quit. It is a bummer. And I think that's why I'm more pessimistic. Again, I'm never going to say that my dream of becoming a content creator is dead. I think I'd still be streaming into my 50s, 60s, maybe even when I'm a 70-year-old. I think I would still be live streaming, even if I never grow from it. Even if I still have the same number of viewers at 50 years old as I do right now at 25 years old. I'm not 25. Why the fuck did I say that? I'm 27. Dude. That's scary. I don't even know my own age. That's how you know you're getting old. Fuck. Alright. Sorry. Give a better example. I don't care if I had the same viewers that I do right now at 27 when I'm 70. I could be in the retirement home and still have like 5 viewers. I'm gonna stream. I'm never gonna stop streaming and stop making content until I exit this earth. However, I have also accepted the fact that for now, I can only do this as a hobby. Because I need to focus on my real job to make money and my relationships with family, friends, my wife to, have that emotional fulfillment and that connection with real people outside of work and outside of gaming. But live streaming and gaming is always going to be a hobby of mine, so I'm always going to do it. Now, if in the future this does become lucrative and I get popular enough to do it as like a job, then I'd be extremely grateful. And it would feel like those dreams finally come true. Like, I'm never going to give up on that dream. And I'm always going to have a little inkling of hope that my dream comes true and content creation becomes my full-time job. But until then, I can't, like, quit my actual job to focus on this full-time, Because that would send me into immediate bankruptcy. Like, my wife and I are trying to save for a house. That would never be possible if I quit my job. So, I can basically only live stream and make content as a hobby. As like a little part-time side quest. Little side hustle, if you want to call it that. And I've accepted that. Like, you hear stories all the time of like big live streamers and big content creators who blew up. And they'll be like, yeah, I quit my job and just started streaming all day, every day. And it blew up. But those same people in the same interview or podcast or whatever, the same message, they will always follow it up with, you should not do that. Because it is truly a gamble. And if you do quit like your full-time job to try streaming full-time, there's just as much of a chance, if not more of a chance, that you are going to fail, run out of money, and then have to find another job, or you're going to start going into the red in your bank account. Like, that is more likely than you blowing up and becoming the next, like, Jinxie, Queso, Kaisenat. Like, It's just such a rarity. And I think it's a good thing that the streamers who have blown up, like, you know, Jinxie, for example, quite literally has an entire clip that got really popular where he's telling people, like, you should not quit school for this. You should not quit your job for this. I think it's a good thing that they say that, because they're also being realistic and they're giving people a realistic message about live streaming. And I don't know, it's just the same way I feel about it as well. Like, I try to be realistic about content creation to the point where I'm not going to quit my job for this, but I'm also going to continue doing it on the side in hopes that maybe one day it'll blow up. And if it doesn't, that's okay, because I've accepted that it's likely not going to blow up. Like, I've accepted the fact that content creation very likely will never be my full-time job. Maybe a nice part-time side hustle, or at the very least a hobby like it is right now. But it's a way better, I don't know, way to go about life. And also, like, realistically, I have aspirations outside of live streaming. Like, my life is not centered around this one goal. Because I think that would also be kind of sad. Like, if my one and only dream in life was to be a full-time content creator, and then I don't fulfill that dream, somewhere deep in my soul, I would feel like I failed. And my life was just a complete waste. Worthless, if you will. Thankfully, I don't have that mentality, nor do I feel that way. Because I have other goals in life. Like, one of my goals was to marry Abby, and we did that. Another goal was to become a published author, and I've kind of done that. I've published short stories, but I've never published, like, a full book. And I want to publish a real book, because, like, short stories are easy. A novel, that's tough, and I want to say that I've done that. I want to say that I've accomplished that. So, like, being a published author, getting married, those were other goals that I've achieved, which helps me feel like not a fucking loser because I didn't fulfill my goal of becoming a content creator. Like, no, I'm doing other things. I'm achieving other things in my life to find fulfillment and success. Clipping this for when you blow up. Thank you. Yeah. It's just, if I ever blow up, the clip of me being super inspirational is going to be in Minecraft walking in a straight line. It's a real exciting content. I mean, and like I said, I'm hypocritical. Who am I to talk shit on other people's type of content, and who am I to talk shit on other people making boring content when we're basically just walking in a straight line in Minecraft right now? We're playing Walking Simulator, the video game, inside of Minecraft. However, like I said, this is also kind of like a little life goal of mine. Speaking of goals and accomplishments, I've always wanted to make it to the far lands. I've always wanted to get to the far lands of Minecraft, and these live streams are a way of fulfilling that goal. Hey, what's up, brother? I'll be honest, I have no clue how to say your name in the YouTube chat. Is it? Oh, wait. It's just New Dawn. I'm an idiot. Dude, I was like making up new words in my head. I was creating names from languages that don't exist. And your name is simply New Dawn. I don't know why I couldn't figure that out on first glance. That's crazy. How are you doing? How are you doing? That's so funny. So funny. Yeah, I don't know. I try to find fulfillment. That's such a terrible pronunciation of the word. I try to find fulfillment in a lot of other things in my life. Just in case something doesn't work out. Like, if I never become a famous content creator, well, at least I married my wife. And that's something I did accomplish successfully. Or, like, if I never hike through the Grand Canyon, well, I also published a short story. And I think that's healthy. That's like a good thing to have in your life. Have multiple goals, have multiple things you want to accomplish. So if one of them falls short, like I do genuinely want to hike down and then back up the Grand Canyon. But admittedly, that's a tall ask. That's a difficult task, especially for me, someone who lives on the other side of the country. And also, it'll probably be impossible in the future once that bitch floods. Once we get hit with the Great Flood, Grand Canyon's gonna be a river again. It's gonna be gone. But anyways, like if I never get to hike the Grand Canyon, then at least I published some of my writing, and I feel like I accomplished that. Hey, thank you for the sub on YouTube, New Dawn. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? I think that's just healthy. Like, have multiple goals, have multiple things you want to accomplish in your life. That way, if you don't get one completed, if you don't do one of those things, hey, at least you did something else. And I think that's been a really good way of not only viewing life more realistically, but also just having a better like mental health about the things I want to do in my life. Because like instead of feeling like a failure that I've never hiked up and down the Grand Canyon, I can feel like fulfilled and happy in my life because I married my wife, or I published a short story. I can say that I'm a published author. Like that kind of stuff definitely helps me feel better. I don't know how this turned into like a therapy session, but it definitely helps me feel better, and hopefully it would like help other people as well, instead of just constantly feeling bad about all the things like you didn't do, or feeling like a failure because you couldn't accomplish this one task, this one goal. It's too much of a negative feedback loop. And I used to be a super like negative person. I used to focus way too much on my failures, and I definitely relate to people who think that way, because that's how I used to be, especially back in high school. Like I was a nerd in high school, okay? I cared so much about like getting constant straight A's and doing the best that I could. And then if I like faltered in any way possible, like if I got a single B on a report card, I felt like a failure. And I think that's just it is a negative feedback loop, and it's also just an unrealistic expectation to have on yourself. But there's also the opposite end of that, where like you have no goals, no aspirations, and like no care in the world. Like you could be failing all your classes, and it's like, this is fine. I don't care, because I don't want to be the best version of myself. I think that's also probably a bad thing. So it's about finding a happy medium between those two things. And you know, I can kind of relate to both, because not only was I way too hard on myself and I expected way too much of myself like back in high school, but then towards the end of my college career, I did not give a fuck at all. I hated the college experience. I hated a lot of like what I experienced at college, which was just boredom and neglect. Dude, my advisor, if they have 0 ops, I'm dead. I'm not gonna say her name. I'm not gonna name drop the professor. But if my advisor has 0 haters, I'm fucking dead. My advisor in college fucked me over. And like my college experience was kind of negative. So unlike high school, where I was constantly trying to do the best possible and be the best person that I could be, in college, like I did not give a fuck. Towards the end of my college career, I could not care less about my grades, my classes, if I was passing, failing, and that's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, and also a very negative way to live your life. But I'm happy to say that I feel like I found a good balance between the two, a happy medium, and it's helped me have a much better like mental state. I'm just living like healthier. Yeah, I don't know. I feel happier. healthier mental state, that's for sure. But yeah, I truly don't remember how we got on this topic. I'm gonna be so real with you. I have no clue how we got on this topic. That's okay. Oh, one thing though I'm gonna ask again, because I mentioned it earlier, but there was no one in the chat. Anyone have good wireless headset recommendations in the chat? If anyone has a good wireless headset they want to recommend in the chat, I would love to hear it, because I need to get a wireless headset. Not only a wireless headset, but one with like a microphone that has noise cancellation. That way I can walk around my room, and I could also like walk on that treadmill behind me while live streaming. Also, I don't use the microphone in this headset. This microphone, trash. It is very bad. That's why I have a real microphone. It's sitting up on a boom arm right about here, just like 2 inches above my camera. I just have a microphone dangling up in the air. Saying that it's dangling up in the air sounds so much funnier. Makes it sound like it's hanging from a rope. Hanging from the fucking ceiling. Oh, I got a nice little boom arm. And I also have like a nice little why can't I think what that's called? A windscreen. I have a windscreen and a pop filter. Both on my microphone and then in front of my microphone, so it makes it sound a little bit better. There we go. Anyways, yeah. I need to get a wireless headset, especially if we want to start doing live streams where I walk on the treadmill and play games at the same time. I think that'd be very funny. Oh, fuck, I moved my mouse. No. I started walking in the wrong direction. We gotta fix this, hold up. Okay, I think I fixed it. I got so worried for a second. Oh no, we're still walking a little bit to the left. We need to move a bit more to the right. Come on, just a nudge to the right. It's so difficult to walk in a straight line in Minecraft, bro. That's better. Anyways. Damn, I don't know. I still use my Turtle Beaches from the PS3 days. It's so funny you say that, because I was quite literally going on a rant earlier about how I hate Turtle Beaches. And I'm saying this with a level of humor. I'm not trying to like talk shit on your headphones. But the reason I brought it up is because there was someone from our high school who used to wear Turtle Beaches all the time, and I fucking hated them. And now, I hate Turtle Beaches as a result. And it's completely unfair to the company Turtle Beach, okay? It's not their fault at all. It's just because I hated that kid. The same way, like, if you have someone in your life who was an asshole to you, you hate, like, their name. And then if you meet someone later in life who has the same name, you almost inherently want to hate them too. Like, there are certain names that I hate because of people I knew back in the day who had the same name, and I found them really, really annoying. And it's kind of the same way with Turtle Beach. Like, there was a kid in our high school who wore Turtle Beaches all the time, and I hated him, and now I hate Turtle Beaches as a result. It's completely unfair to the to the headphones. It's completely unrelated to the headphones. It was just because I didn't like that kid. Like, I don't think I'm ever having kids, but like, if I get a dog with my wife, there are a couple names that I would never name it because of people back in the day that I just do not like. Like, there was this kid who I used to play video games with, and should I name drop? Should we just name drop for funsies? There's this kid who we used to play games with on stream, and I think you'll also know them, Morgan, but I'm trying to, again, not completely dox them. His name was Anthony. And Anthony was always kind of like a little odd sometimes, but I swear to God, it was like one day he just snapped. Something broke in his brain, and he started like DMing people the crazy shit on Discord. Like, he sent me a couple videos that were like supposed to blow out your eardrums. You know those videos where like they start off really, really quiet and you hear someone like talking but you can't hear them, so you turn the video up to full volume, and then halfway through the video it just turns into max decibel loud ass fucking music and you can't hear for the rest of the day. He would send me that kind of stuff. He once sent me just gay porn. He sent other people gay porn. He sent people like really racist shit. I think he sent one of our friends like just a video of someone straight up being shot. And this was all within like the span of 24 hours. This kid had like a mental break. And he went from being like a little weird, would sometimes say or do things that were kind of strange, to just like DMing people gay porn on Discord because he thought it was funny. So pretty much everyone in my friend group blocked him. In the course of 24 hours, he got blocked by like everyone in the friend group. And ever since then, I've had a bit of a like disturbing reaction to anyone who's named Anthony. Because this one kid who was named Anthony did something really weird and kind of just I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to think of nice words because I don't want to start beef. He just made everyone in the friend group uncomfortable. And now whenever I see someone else named Anthony, I immediately am uncomfortable until I learn whether or not they were a good or bad person, whether or not they'll be a good or bad friend to me. And that's unfair to people named Anthony, I'll be honest. But it's all because one kid named Anthony back in the day was a fucking weirdo. Yeah. It's crazy to think that was a couple years ago now. It's been a while since that fateful day. We gotta have there's gotta be a name for it. We gotta come up with a name. I'll ask the friend group. We'll call it Doomsday for now. It's been a couple years since Doomsday, where that kid just completely snapped and sent a bunch of us the weirdest, most grotesque, most awkward Discord DMs. D-Day. But it's crazy to think about, because before that happened, we used to live stream together all the time. We used to play games together all the time, and he was like an active member of the friend group. But not anymore. Unlucky. I think D-Day might be a little insensitive, but I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I think what was the most uncomfortable about it is we had a lot of, back then at least, minors in our friend group / streaming group, because there were people from our high school who hadn't graduated yet, or there were some streamers who we had met through Twitch. And you gotta remember, this is back in the day when I don't want to call us a Twitch team. We didn't have a name or anything. It's not like we were the next best offline TV, okay? But we were kind of a group of people who all live streamed and made YouTube content together. And like I said, even though I had graduated and I was 18 plus, and this kid named Anthony had graduated and he was 18 plus, there were still some people from our high school who were a grade or two below us who had not graduated yet. There were still people in our Twitch group who were below the age of 18. And the fact that he was sending them gay porn, that's fucking illegal. I'm pretty sure you can get charged for that kind of shit. Sending porn to a minor. So yeah, he had to be blocked. He had to be removed from the group. And like I said, that group doesn't even really exist anymore. It was fun while it lasted, but there's a reason not many groups ever thrive, let alone survive, on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, because usually something like that happens where the group kind of falls apart. And while in the moment we all banned this kid, blocked him, kicked him out of the group, I think it did almost start almost as a catalyst for the group kind of falling apart and people moving their separate ways. Not that it was, again, the primary reason, but a catalyst for it nonetheless. And sometimes I look back and reminisce, you know, I think about it almost like with a tear in my eye. Because I do miss the days where I used to live stream with all these people and we would all make content together, and we were like just this group of small content creators all playing games together, making videos together, and live streaming together. Like, I miss that group. I miss that almost like feeling of family. And it does make me sad. But I also kind of enjoy just having the freedom of making whatever I want, playing games by myself, or playing games with whoever the fuck I want. Like, if I want to stream with you, my dearest brother Morgan, I don't really got to worry about, you know, ignoring the group. Or, you know, being viewed as a traitor to the group. There's too many, like, social politics to being in a streamer group. Like, who played with who, how often you played with the group, how active you were. And now that I'm just kind of, like, streaming on my own, I can stream whenever I want, play with whoever I want, and not have to worry about those, like, office politics, or social politics is a better word. It's nice. And also, like, I think the fallout of that group dissolving almost led to some of my best streams ever. The most entertaining streams, for me at least. Because once that group disbanded, and I was no longer playing with them all the time, that's when I started streaming a lot with, like, you, Blake, Nicole, and we would, like, play Fall Guys together. And I look back some of those original Fall Guys streams before the game became almost like Fortnite, with a ton of, like, branded skins, and the levels became, like, community made, which on the surface, having community made levels is cool. The problem was a lot of those levels were shit. But, like, before Fall Guys became what it is today, which is, in my opinion, a far worse version of the game, we used to play, like, the original, and it was so much fun, and those streams were so entertaining. Like, I look back at that with rose-tinted glasses. I think those were, like, some of the fucking funniest streams I ever did online. And the only reason those streams came to exist is because the group of people I used to live stream with dissolved, and I went my own separate way. And if that never happened, I probably would not have had the time or the priority. I'll admit that. Like, I probably would not have prioritized playing with my actual real life friends, like you, Blake, Nicole, because I still would have been prioritizing streaming with the group of people that I was a part of. So in a way, I'm kind of glad that group dissolved, because it allowed me to just play with whoever I wanted to, and play with the people I actually cared about, actually wanted to play with. But I still kind of miss the group, you know? I felt like I was a part of something. I don't think I would ever go back and try to, you know, bring it back together. Let's bring the gang back together. And I also don't know if I would ever be a part of another streaming group, just because I like my current, like, individual content. But, you know, everything happens for a reason. Like I said, maybe it was a good thing that group dissolved, because then I played a ton of, like, Among Us, like you said in the chat, or Fall Guys with y'all. And that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that a lot. Among Us was fun. The problem with Among Us, though, is there were one or two people who could ruin it. Like, if one person just started playing like a troll, the entire point of the game dissolved into complete chaos. Like, what I liked about Among Us was, like, the social deduction. Hearing people make arguments for why they are a crewmate or are not an imposter, and then based off those conversations and the inflections in people's voices, finding out who was lying. I really, really liked that. I love that social deduction aspect of the game. However, that all falls apart and becomes completely pointless when you have, like, one person or two people trolling. But maybe that's just me taking the game too seriously. I don't know. I could just be too much of a tryhard. It's the same reason I loved the game Mine Night back in the day. Do you remember Mine Night? can't remember if we ever played it together, but I think you would at least know the name because it was a game that Smitty used to play a lot. And I know you and I both used to watch Smitty. I don't know if you still watch Smitty. I don't really watch Smitty much anymore. No, it's Smitty? Who was it? KYR Speedy. Sorry. I mixed up Speedy and Schmitty. And also, they both used to play that game, so that didn't help. That's another reason I mixed it up. Anyways, I know you used to watch Speedy back in the day, and I watched Speedy. Vanoss, did Vanoss play Mind Knight? Or are we just typing Vanoss? But like, they used to play Mind Knight back in the day. So you probably at least recognize the name of the game, but I don't think we ever played it together. I loved Mind Knight, because Mind Knight was like Among Us, but with far more focus on the social strategy. And on the surface, it kind of sounds boring, because it was like Among Us, but without tasks. However, I almost like that more. It's very reminiscent of like Town of Salem, or if you've ever played the like real life game Werewolf, where like everyone puts their heads down, that one person's the werewolf, they raise their hands, and then one person's the mayor, they raise their hands. Like, that's a real life version of the game Mind Knight, or Town of Salem. Town of Salem's also huge. It's a very popular game. But I loved playing Mind Knight because it was like Among Us, but without the tasks. And you had a lot more control over your fate. Like, if someone was getting voted out, they were getting voted out. But you weren't going to get murdered in electrical before you could figure out who was the imposter. Like, that was one thing that always bothered me about Among Us, is like, I would have a really good idea of who was the imposter, but then I'd get fucking murdered, so I couldn't tell anyone in the meeting. What I like about Mind Knight is, like, you don't get murdered. So if you're figuring out things accordingly, like if you actually figure out who is the imposter, or in that game it's called the hacker, you are always able to make an argument for yourself. And you can make that argument to the rest of the group. And it was a very, very popular social deduction game. And it basically was just an entirely social deduction game. Without any tasks to complete like Among Us, the entire game just becomes social strategy. And I loved that. I loved that game back in the day. Oh man, I miss it. I think those games are similar to like my love for the game show Survivor. Like, I don't watch any TV. I really, really don't like reality TV at all. But the one show that I love and I will watch religiously, it's the only TV show that I will tune into live when it airs. And that's Survivor. Like, I love Survivor. And I think I love it because of like the social deduction and social strategy of it. It's also the reason why I played an entire online version of Survivor 2 times in the last 2 years. Oh man. And it was fun. I had so much fun voting people out and convincing people to trust me just to cut their throats at Tribal Council. My strategy playing Survivor was very much so opposite of like a lot of modern Survivor players. Like, there's a joke from one player recently on Survivor who said that he's just here to win 1 million hearts. When I played Survivor, wasn't there to win 1 million hearts. I was there to break 1 million hearts. Like, I don't give a fuck about your emotions. I'm gonna make you trust me, make you think that we're best friends, we're alliance members, and then slash your throat. If it means that I can progress in the game. And that made me a very unlikable person, admittedly. The strategy was amazing. My strategy, near flawless, let me tell you. Okay, I played Online Survivor 2 times, and both times made it to the end. But I didn't win either time, because people were very butthurt. I would make the argument petty. Because one thing I never did on purpose, because like, it's just mean, was like make fun of people personally. I never attacked someone on a personal level. I never made fun of them on a personal level. And I was always at least nice to them, regardless of whether they were my ally, my enemy, or I was voting them out. Like, I was always nice to people. However, simply voting someone out because they were like a threat, it didn't gain me a lot of social points. Especially like if I was voting out my allies. I would vote out my allies because they would beat me at the end, and I needed to progress in the game further. Like, I can't let them beat me, and I also can't let them vote me out. So I oftentimes, like I said, cut throats without caring about whether they were an ally or an enemy. That mindset didn't really win me a lot of favor with my allies. Holy shit. With my allies. We're all allies here. Sorry, I can't make that joke. That's fucked up. Sorry. I gotta compose myself. It definitely didn't win me a lot of favor at the end. And maybe it's because the people who play Online Survivor are way more emotional and they care more about like the social game. But like me personally, I'm a strategist at heart. If I got voted out by one of my allies and they made it to the end, I would applaud them. I would give them my vote, because like if you voted me out to progress your game and you voted me out successfully and made it to the end successfully, that's a good move, and I would vote for you to win. But I did that to some of my allies in Survivor, and they were angry at me about it. And I think the people I played with both times cared way more about the social game and how like close you were to people, and way less about the strategy and like how smart you played the game and like the moves you made to get to the end. And I think it didn't help that like people were just very butthurt that I would tell them to their face, yeah, I'm not voting you out tonight, and then slit their throat and vote them out 2 hours later. But like, that's the game, baby. That's Survivor. You gotta lie. Because if I tell someone I'm voting them out, they might have an advantage or an immunity idol to protect themselves. So like, I'm not taking that risk. Respectfully, I'm not taking that risk. And I'm very proud of the way I played Online Survivor, both seasons that I played it. Because, like I said, both times, I made it to the end. I've never been voted out before. And if you wanted to vote me out, you just had to be a little bit smarter and a couple steps ahead. But you weren't. So I voted you out. It's a bummer. And again, this is the type of personality that probably did not win me a lot of votes. But I can at least be proud of the fact that I played like the strategy part of Survivor on point. And I love that. Like, one of my favorite votes ever that I was a part of was at the final 9 of my first season. Final 9. And in the final 9, you need 5 votes to get someone out. 5 votes is the majority. But you don't need 5 votes if you can convince everyone to vote a different way. Instead, the person I wanted to go went home on a 4-3-2 split. Hold up. We gotta... I feel like this is worth pulling up Microsoft Paint for. Give me a sec. Give me Microsoft Paint, and then... Oh my god, it's so bright. Fucking hell. Okay. So. Normally, in... Oh, why is that on the screen? Hold up. Give me 1 second. The chat is on the screen. Get rid of the chat. Get rid of the white background as well. And then we can get rid of the events list. I don't know why that was on there. It must have turned itself on. Sorry. Okay. I'm going on a little Survivor rant. Just to appease me for 1 second. At the final 9, what would normally happen is you need at least 5 votes to get someone out. So, like, worst case scenario, you'll go 5 votes to 4 votes. What I convinced people to do was split all of their votes. So, I convinced 2 people to think we were voting out option A. And that everyone was going to vote out option A. 3 people thought that we were going to be voting out option B. And that they had the numbers. And they were in the majority alliance. And then my alliance of 4 people voted out option C in a 4-3-2 split. And importantly, we would have never been able to vote option C out of the game because no one else was going to vote option C. Only the 4 of us were going to vote option C. So we had to convince the other 5 people to split their votes and lie to them and tell them that, oh yes, the 4 of us are going to vote with you 2 and option A will go home. And then we lied to the other group saying, yeah, the 4 of us are going to vote for option B and then they'll go home. That way, these 3 votes stayed on option B, and these 2 votes stayed on option A, because both groups thought that the 4 of us were with them. But we weren't. And we voted out option C instead. And, like, that's something I'm very proud of, because that level of social manipulation to vote someone out at the final 9 with 4 votes to 3 to 2 is so difficult. And it takes a level of manipulation that, like, it's almost fucked up. I shouldn't be admitting this. I feel like it's painting me as a terrible person by willingness to lie and betray people. But I love that part of Survivor. This right here is the part of Survivor I love. And I kind of miss it. Maybe I'll play again. But maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't. If I ever play Survivor again online, I worry that, like, I would get voted out, and then I would never be able to say in the future that I never got voted out. Because that is one of my many humble brags. One of the things I'm proud about is the 2 times I played online Survivor, I didn't get voted out. And if I play again, I put myself at risk of being voted out, which is not something I want. I would like to continue living my life bragging about the fact that I never got voted out of Survivor. And I won a little bit of money on the way, too. That 2nd place cash was not bad. But, yeah, I do love Survivor. If you can't tell, I just did a whole fucking demonstration about it. I'm addicted to Survivor, as well as, like, any type of social manipulation game. Survivor is a metaphor for life. You know, it kind of is. It kind of is. Oh, man. It's so funny. That's my little nerd rant for the night. My nerd rant about Survivor. Anyways, we are at 92,000 blocks. I think we started this live stream around like the 70,000, give or take. That would make sense. That number makes sense. So I think we started this stream around like 70,000. We're at 92,000 blocks now. I think I'm going to end the stream when we hit 100,000. We hit our first 6-figure distance. That's crazy to think about. 100,000 blocks walked in Minecraft. We're almost there. You know what's crazier to think about? The fact that we still have 1.5 million to go. Like, we are only 100,000 blocks down out of 1.5 million. How many is that? Like, percentage-wise. How far have we traveled? Let's do some math. Let's do some quick math on a calculator. 1.5 million. 1,500,000. Oh, shit. I did it backwards. Fuck. Okay, wait. 100,000 divided by 1.5 million. That's 6% of the way. We've only traveled 6% of the distance. Oh, man. But you know, hey. If we keep this up, and we keep live streaming every couple weeks, like I have been. I do these live streams once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, give or take. So if I continue doing these live streams once every couple weeks, how many more would we have to do? to 3 divided by 94. Wait, no, 94 divided by 3. That's 31 weeks. So we have like 31 more weeks of this. How many years is that? Hold on, let's do that calculation real quick. How many years? 31 weeks. That can't be right. It says it's half of a year. Did I do the math wrong? Maybe not. I feel like I'm an idiot. That doesn't make sense. It can't be half a year. I mean, if so, we only have half a year of this left. I thought it was going to take us multiple years. But that doesn't make any sense. How many weeks is 31 weeks in pregnancy? If someone says they're 31 weeks pregnant, what does that mean? Also, how do you get pregnant? Can someone explain that to me? Someone please tell me about the birds and the bees. Sorry. Bro, that just doesn't sound right. 31 weeks, like half a year? Okay. Well, if that is true, then we only have about half a year left of this. Assuming... Oh, wait, but you know what? I know why my math is off. My math is off because... Oh, fuck. Oh, no, I know why my math is off. Because I was doing the math as if every live stream we were going to walk 100,000 blocks, which is not the case. It took us multiple live streams just to walk 100,000 blocks this time. Okay, give me a second. I'll have a more accurate calculation for y'all here in a minute. Let's say 30,000 is how many we walked today, divided by 1.5 million. That's 2%. Fuck. Okay. So if we walk 2% of the distance every 3 weeks, 3 times 98, it's 294 weeks. How many years is that? That's a lot more. 298 weeks in years. That's 5 years. Oh no. Okay. I feel like that math is also off. So it could take us half a year to beat the challenge. On the low end, it could take us 5 years. I don't really know what the real number is in between that, and I'm scared to find out. Oh, fuck. But, you know what would help speed this up a little bit? If I didn't stream it like once every 3 weeks. If I stream this more, or if I streamed for longer. Like today, we only streamed for like 2 hours. And we're probably going to be ending the stream here shortly, once we hit 100,000 blocks. So if I stream longer and I stream more often, it won't take 5 years. But it's definitely not going to take half a year. That's impossible. Oh, fuck. Okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I'm not nervous. I'm not going to give up on this challenge. I can't give up on this challenge. If I give up on this challenge, it would be such a waste of money. It's like the sunk cost fallacy. We've already spent so much time, and we spent so many live streams walking 100,000 blocks. I gotta walk the rest of the 1.5 million. It'd be a waste if I didn't. God. What is wrong with me? Anyways, I do appreciate everyone that showed up to the stream today. Thank you for the sub on YouTube as well. Thank you for the butterfly on TikTok, Morgan. We gotta play games again, by the way, brother. We gotta play games again. Granted, we're gonna be hanging out soon, so no rush. But maybe like after we hang out, in between that hangout and the next one, play some games, catch up. I'm excited to see you soon as well. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. I'm hoping that Hershey Park is not like 100 degrees the day we go. Praying. that we can avoid like a heat wave. But I don't know, man. This last heat wave I had to work through, that fucking blew. That sucked so much. The day it was like over 100 degrees, and then the real feel was like even higher than that. I was dying. It made me highly regret my choice of employment. Especially because like I'm walking around so much every day. That's something I was talking about earlier. Like I spend a lot of my shift just walking from ride to ride, from person to person, from like upset guest to upset guest, to the point where like if I'm working a double, I'm getting like 9 miles in. If I'm working like just an 8-hour shift, that's like 5 miles. And I don't know. I'm just constantly feeling exhausted, sweaty, gross, and I just have like a little bit of hatred about my life. That's like vacation for a Minecraft character. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. God damn it. But yeah, I'm really hoping we can avoid the heat wave. I'm just hoping it isn't a ungodly hot summer like it was last year. Last year we had crazy 100-degree days. On the bright side though, the hotter the day is, the more often people are in the water park or just not in the park in general, which does help the lines shorten. Though that won't really be a problem for us because we got those fast tracks, baby. Come on, you know I got the hookup. However, yeah, I don't know. The water park will be fucking filled. It always has crazy long lines on those hot days. Abby was talking about going to the water park with Nicole because Nicole doesn't like riding rides, and Abby, she'll ride some but not all. So like she was making jokes like, yeah, you, Blake, Morgan, Lena, they can all go on the rides. Nicole and I are gonna go to the water park. Has Lena ever been to Hershey Park? If so, hopefully it's been a while because there's a lot of new stuff. And if they've never been, then like I'll try to make sure we have a good experience as a group. Because like I said, we're hopefully, as long as we travel in 2 different cars, won't have to pay for parking because Abby and I can cover that. Won't have to really wait in any lines because of the fast tracks. Won't have to pay to get in the park. Try to make it as fun as first visit as possible for her. Yeah. She's been everywhere in the world other than Hershey. I mean, I believe that. Your vacation recently looked really sick. That looked really, really cool. How much longer is it going to take us to get 100,000? I thought it was going to be pretty quick because we were at 93 and also it's lagging. Hold up. Pause. Quit. Back in the game. Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's taking way longer than I thought, but yeah, I don't know. Kind of exciting though. I'm almost glad she hasn't been, because then her first experience could be something that's way less expensive and way more fun. Not like waiting in lines, not having to pay for parking, stuff like that. Seattle was fun, but the zombies came out at night, and I had to build up windows like God. That's crazy, dude. What the fuck? That's so silly. I don't even know how to respond to that. I'll be so honest with you. I do believe it though. I definitely believe the zombies were crawling all around Seattle at nighttime. So funny. What I'm definitely have to do after the stream ends is some research on good wireless headphones. Because, like I said, I think that's the only way we're going to do live streams on the treadmill while walking on the treadmill and, like, working on a game or grinding something like this. Now, this would be easy because I can literally do this with my hands up. I just have a hotkey that is keeping us walking forward at all times. Like, I don't even need a controller. But, like, for other games, maybe, let's say Mario Kart, for example, I would need to be pretty hands-free, and I would need a wireless headset to play Mario Kart on a controller while walking on the treadmill. So, wireless headset might be the next purchase for our live stream setup, for our little gaming setup here. I'll have to do research, like I said. I need specifically a noise-canceling microphone on that headset, because the microphone I have sitting right above my camera on this boom arm, that's not going to reach. It's not going to reach. And therefore, if I'm wearing a headset and using the microphone on a headset, that microphone's going to be right next to the treadmill. And I don't want it to pick up the sound of that treadmill. So I need something with good noise cancellation, a good, like, focal point on where the audio goes in. So it can't be like, I can't think of the actual word for it. There's a auditory term for a type of microphone, but I need one that, like, isn't surround sound. It just goes into one very small, specific point on the microphone. I can't think of any of those words, though. I should know that. I should know better. I'm literally someone who has put time and money into creating a streaming setup, and I can't think of what the term is for that type of microphone. But I need definitely good noise cancellation as well. And some of that stuff I can edit on my own. Like, don't get me wrong, I can put on, like, a noise gate and a compressor to make it sound better in the settings of my live stream, but, like, there's almost nothing I can do if the microphone isn't noise cancellation, or doesn't have noise cancellation, and, like, it's picking up any and every sound. Like, I can only help so much. You know what I mean? But that's okay. I'm vibing to this music, though. I've been trying to listen to more, like, non-copyrighted music on my live streams. Not that I was just straight up listening to, like, Coldplay or goddamn, like, Lil Uzi Vert. But, like, in the past, I would listen to, like, some video game music, and I would also listen to video game remixes. The problem with that is some of my live streams were being copyright striked, and the live streams are being muted because the creators of those video game remixes put copyright claims on my live streams. Now, granted, I'm not trying to say that in, like, an accusatory way. Like, this remix artist copyright striked my video. No. It was probably an automatic thing done by either their label or their publisher. It's automated. I know that. No hard feelings towards the person who created that video game remix. However, what I don't want to continue happening, what I'm trying to put a stop to, is my live streams getting muted. That's honestly what I care about more. I don't care about the copyright strike because my content makes, like, no money anyways. You can have the ad revenue. Whatever. Copyright strike doesn't matter to me. What does matter to me is getting the streams muted during those sections where I'm listening to their songs, because I like going back and watching my streams again and having that footage live on. And it's not really living on if it's fucking muted. So I've been trying to create my own playlists with songs that I know for sure are non-copyright. This is one of them, and it's kind of a bop. The songs are not bad. I need to create a video game playlist with, like, video game songs that I know won't get me copyright striked. That'd be good. Because I love listening to video game music on stream I think video game music has some of the just like most emotional soundtracks ever. Like it definitely helps if you know the game it's from and you know specifically like the moment in the game that it's from. But like a song like Unwavering Heart from Pokemon fills my chest with so much emotion. It's like uncomparable. There's very few real songs with, you know, words and producers and lyrics and an artist behind it that's popular that makes me feel the same way. Very few mainstream popular songs make me feel the same way. That's what I'm basically trying to say. But like some video game music gets me in my feels. Or it just gets me hyped. Like 90% of Mario Kart music is just hype music. It's so good. So I'm definitely addicted to like listening to video game music. I used to, dude, back in college, this is a throwback story. This got me thinking like sentimentally. It's got me in my nostalgia feels. Back in college, I would wake up so late for class, especially if it was like an 8 a.m. class. I would wake up at like 7:50. And I would have to, in 10 minutes, throw clothes on, deodorant, grab my book bag, and then run across campus to my class. And one thing I would do to like hype myself up and to get myself moving real quick was put on Mario Kart music. Or really any video game music. Like, sometimes I'll hear a specific song, and you know how like you have memories associated with a song, or just like memories associated with a smell or a taste? Well, I have multiple memories associated with like Mario Kart songs that I would listen to in the morning before going to class. Like, it's 7:50 in the morning. I gotta fucking throw on deodorant, clothes, grab my backpack, and then run across campus to the English building for a fucking journalism class. And like there are multiple Mario Kart songs associated with that memory, that feeling, that action. And it's kind of a good thing, kind of a stressful thing. I'll be honest, a little stressful. But like, it's so funny to think back on that. That's such a fucking throwback. Backroom soundtrack would suit this walking well. Yeah, just it's just the sound of a fluorescent light kind of cutting in and out, occasionally losing power and then turning back on. That's what we should listen to for like an entire 5-hour live stream. 5 hours of walking, 5 hours of fluorescent light audio. Just white noise. That's actually how I go to bed. I need fluorescent light white noise to help me fall asleep. Sounds romantic. Oh yeah, Abby loves it. Abby loves it. No, actually, funnily enough, speaking of Abby, she has kind of become addicted to the same YouTube channel I got addicted to, and I'm still addicted to. For white noise. For falling asleep. So, back in the day, I used to need complete silence to fall asleep. I'm talking specifically back when I was in high school and I lived at home, or in college when I lived in like dorms with other people. I got used to it, you know? Like, it became my, almost like my thing, that I needed complete silence to sleep. And if something was going on in the background, or there was sound in the background, even if it was just like a TV, I'd have to turn it off. It was almost a personality trait of mine. Nowadays, it's completely flipped. Because I live on my own, I don't have to worry about family members or roommates being disturbed. And I've very quickly developed the opposite problem. Where back in the day, like I said, when I was living in the dorms, I needed complete silence to sleep. Nowadays, I need sound to fall asleep. I need some sort of white noise. The problem with that is the white noise can't be too boring, or else I get kind of annoyed by it. Like if I listen to just straight up like ocean sounds, that annoys me because it's just the same kind of noise over and over again. It's very boring. But the white noise also can't be too entertaining. Like I can't listen to a TV show that I, especially not one that I care about. Like if it's something funny or intense, I'm going to be focusing on the TV show, even if I'm not watching it, even if I'm just listening to it. My brain's going to be focusing on it and listening to it actively, and I'm unable to fall asleep. So, I have found that what I need to fall asleep is something that's not boring, but not entertaining. Just kind of middling. And there's this one guy on YouTube who plays Mario Maker 2. A game that came out like 8 years ago. And has almost no player base anymore. But he plays Mario Maker 2. And makes a video about it like once every 2 days. And his voice, and I'm saying this as a compliment, I promise it's a compliment, his voice is almost like the perfect level of monotone and boring that mixed in with the sounds of Mario gameplay, it helps me fall asleep. And I think he is the perfect white noise to fall asleep to. And funnily enough, Abby now feels the same way. Where I'm trying to look up his channel. I can't even remember his channel name. I'll be so honest. What is his channel name? Oh yeah, I don't know how to say it. It's 2 words and I only know how to pronounce one of them. One of them is Panga. So this dude on YouTube. Hold up. I need the camera to unfocus off my face. His name's Panga. He plays Mario Maker 2. And he is like the perfect level of middling content. And again, I'm saying this as a compliment. I'm not trying to call him mid. But his content isn't boring, but it's not too entertaining. Where I can kind of listen to it and fall asleep. I don't get too interested in it, where my brain is staying awake, trying to pay attention, but I'm not getting bored of it and annoyed by it. If it was just like ocean noises. And Abby now also requests his content when she's falling asleep. Like, it's so fun. I feel like I've Pavloved her just by sleeping next to her into wanting his videos to fall asleep. Where like if we're in bed and she's trying to go to sleep but I'm still like scrolling TikTok, she'll ask me to put on one of his YouTube videos to help her fall asleep. It's so funny. I played Thunder Sounds last week, and when I woke up I thought F-16s were flying over my apartment. See, that's what I mean though. I feel like I couldn't listen to that kind of stuff, like a thunderstorm video, because like I'd be in a peaceful slumber, and then a crash of lightning would play on the video, and I'd wake up just in fear, sweat dripping from every orifice of my body. Like, I need something that's kind of mid. And those Mario Maker 2 videos are the perfect level of normalcy. I feel like it sounds like I'm dissing his content, but I promise I'm not. Like, he's one of my favorite channels. Listen to him every night before I go to bed. I need his videos to fall asleep. So I'm definitely not dissing him. It's so funny, though. Alright. I'm the same way. I don't know if you purposely said yeah. I feel like that was on purpose. And I didn't read it like that because I was trying to be nice to you. Speaking of yams, by the way, I love a good, like, yam. What is it called when you have, like, yams and marshmallows? It's like a dish at Thanksgiving. There's a name for it. But I just always referred to it as, like, cooked yams. I love me a good candied yam. Or, like, those baked yams with marshmallows on top. Why is it that we only ever eat that at, like, Thanksgiving? The only time I ever see that dish prepared is Thanksgiving. I love that shit. I would eat candied yams weekly. Hell, every day of my life. We need to be eating yams more. I need to be eating yams more. You need to be eating yams more. We all need to be eating yams more. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. Why we aren't doing that is a disservice to ourselves. I love, yeah, sweet potato casserole. I love sweet potato casserole. It's so good. It's so good. Oh my gosh. I will listen to people specifically. It's the perfect auditory level when I sleep. And like, I don't judge. I don't judge at all. If anything, I support. Because I can relate. Going back to those yams. Sorry. I love yams. And it feels like a loss that we only eat yams around Thanksgiving time. You know what I mean? I need to incorporate yams into my diet more. Though, funnily enough, I went out to this like fancier restaurant with Abby the other day because we were like celebrating her completing this like really, really long, arduous task at work. And after she had completed it and she was done with this work task, we wanted to celebrate in some way. And we went out to this kind of fancier restaurant, and I got a salmon with sweet potato mash. And I'd never had mashed sweet potatoes before. Like, obviously, mashed potatoes are a very common side dish. But I'd never even thought about trying a sweet potato mash. And let me tell you, those mashed sweet potatoes were so good, bro. And they paired so well with the salmon. I was in bliss. I was on cloud 9, just pure ecstasy. And ever since then, it's made me want to try actually try cooking my own sweet potato mash, which I have a feeling would be difficult considering I've never made mashed anything from scratch. Like, I've never made mashed potatoes from scratch. It's always that boxed stuff. And I've never made like mashed sweet potatoes. I've grilled sweet potatoes before. Or I'll cook up a sweet potato in the oven as like a baked sweet potato. But like, I've never made a mash. And I'm worried it would be difficult, but I want to try it because it was so good. But the problem is, like, especially when it comes to cooking fancier meals, is I oftentimes feel like it's not worth the time. Like, Abby and I have tried cooking some fancy stuff in the past that takes like hours to cook, and it's oftentimes not worth it. I'll give you an example of a fancy dinner I cooked once that wasn't worth the time. Fucking beef Wellington. I don't know if it's the Gordon Ramsay effect. Like, if I've been indoctrinated by Hell's Kitchen to think beef Wellington is the cream of the crop, like, most absolute amazing dinner you can have. But that shit took so long to fucking cook. Also, puff pastry costs a goddamn arm and a leg. Puff pastry costs so much fucking money. I honestly don't know how I justified it. I don't know how I even justified it to my wife to let me buy puff pastry from the store. That shit was expensive as fuck. And it took hours to prepare and cook. And yeah, it was good. But it wasn't so good that I thought to myself, that was worth the hours of cook and prep time. Like, fuck no. That was not worth it. And I don't know if I would ever do it again. I would maybe do like a salmon Wellington or a tuna Wellington, because those would probably be a little bit easier to perfect. The beef Wellington was tough, trying to get like the meat temperature at a perfect point all throughout, and then wrap it in pastry and cook it in the oven as well, and get that oven temperature to be fully cooked. You got to get into stir fry and buy a wok. Honestly, I'd be down. I do love me a good stir fry. But like, it's stuff like that where I've cooked like fancier meals, or like one time Abby and I tried to make a pasta almost entirely from scratch. Not fucking worth it. Not worth it at all. I will continue to buy boxed pasta. Holy shit. Like, it's an internal struggle, like I said. I always think about whether the time it takes to make a meal is worth the actual taste of a meal. And oftentimes, maybe it's laziness, maybe it's just the fact that I don't have a lot of free time because of work and real life. But like, I don't have the time to make pasta from scratch. I don't have the time to make a fucking beef Wellington. And I'm much happier eating like a boxed pasta with a canned pasta sauce and adding some seasonings to make it taste like it's got a bit of a flair. Like, I think that's worth my time right now. That's way more worth my time than making pasta from scratch. And maybe in the future, if I have more time, I'll try to cook more. But like, the sweet potato mash is the entire reason I went on this rant in the first place, because I want to make mashed sweet potatoes, but I don't know if it would be worth the time and the effort. I don't know. But Abby and I have gotten into a pretty good habit of like scheduling our meals out weeks in advance and like figuring out what we need to buy from the grocery store. And maybe it'll be something that I add to the list for the next time we go. It's easy, do it. All right. Maybe I'll add it to the grocery list. But like I said, I'm admittedly pretty lazy when it comes to like cooking and stuff, especially if I find really, really good things that are cheap and take little to no cook time. I'll give you an example. Lately, I've been on a tinned fish kick, and it's partially because I started getting a lot of tinned fish TikToks on my For You page of people like reviewing tinned fish or hyping up tinned fish. And like, for me, whenever I thought of tinned fish, I would think of like a can of tuna, which is pretty boring and oftentimes flavorless. But I was getting these videos on TikTok where like people are reviewing tinned mackerel or like tinned squid and gassing it up as this really, really good food. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I bought some tinned mackerel recently. I also bought a couple other things. Like, I bought herring and I bought squid, but I haven't tried it yet. I might save that for a video or a live stream. Maybe it'll be like a reward. If you guys give me a galaxy, I'll eat tinned squid. But I bought mackerel, and tinned mackerel was so fucking good. I would have just eaten it straight out of the can. Now, I was eating it on crackers just to give it a bit more substance and make like a meal out of it. But like, I would have just eaten the mackerel out of the can. And the fact that I can buy canned mackerel that tastes almost as good as if I had purchased mackerel from the grocery store and cooked it myself. At that point, why am I cooking? Why would I buy raw fish and have to cook it on the grill and make sure the temperature is all right and make sure it tastes good with the proper seasonings when I can buy canned mackerel and just skip the entire cooking process? Save all that time I would have had to waste cooking. Because it was so... I can't explain it to you. Like, it is one of the best things I've ever eaten out of a can. Like, this tinned mackerel... I think I have a picture of it on my phone. I took a picture of it because it was so good I wanted to buy it again. And that's kind of embarrassing, but it shows you how good the mackerel was. It was King Oscar mackerel fillets in olive oil. I have the picture on my fucking camera roll. Mackerel fillets in olive oil. But it was so good. And honestly, I think that perfectly kind of sums up this topic of conversation. Like, I love to cook. I love eating fancier food. And I love making like a good hearty meal. But if I can save the hours of prep and cook time and just open a can of tinned fish, as long as it's close enough in flavor that it feels like worth the time I'm saving, I'm gonna take the easy route. And that canned mackerel was so good, it was definitely worth it. Like, it would have taken me hours to make a mackerel dish that was as good as that canned mackerel. So, fuck it. Instead of wasting hours of my life cooking, I'm just gonna open a can. I don't know, man. I love it. Shit is so good. Anyways, I think I'm gonna end the stream there. End the stream on a rant about tinned fish. I don't know if that's funny or embarrassing, but I think I'm gonna head out here, especially because we hit 100,000 blocks walked. We've officially reached the 6 figures. It's gonna be a while till we hit 7 figures, but that's okay. We are 100,000 blocks down. We have 1.4 million blocks to go. We've walked 100,000 out of the 1.5 million. So we're 1/15 of the way there. Sure. I'll be optimistic about that. Regardless, I hope you all enjoyed this stream. I love these streams because I can focus entirely on the chat and just like talk with the people in chat. Something that I always feel bad about is when I'm playing a like high intensity game or like a competitive game, because I'm focused more on the game than the chat. But these streams, it's the exact opposite, and I can just kind of hang out with the chat. These streams are so much fun for me. They're very relaxing. It's just like a good kind of like chill hangout vibe. So thank you for keeping me company during it, and thank you for actually being in the chat, because if no one was here, then I would just been talking to myself for 2 hours like a fucking lunatic. I appreciate it a lot. I wish you all the best. And